Okay, if y'all didn't know, after we sang Happy Birthday real loud, that it's Bill's birthday. Actually, it was Thursday, and he's the guy who gives us this place every Saturday for free.
Yep.
No, no no censorship, no bullshit, just free speech, and he's amazing for it. Oh, and he does give us love too.
And ice cream.
And ice cream.
Yeah.
You gotta love a man who can give you ice cream.
Let's bust into the ice cream, man.
Yeah, speaking of which.
Birthday chocolate.
Yeah, give me one too.
You gotta say I'm under your skin.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
him.
I'm going to. I
Give me one. Give me one. Give me one.
Pins, money, and rings.
I always forget the name of this song, so
My Little Angel. That's what I call it.
yeah, I don't know.
Is there another name for it?
Why?
It used to be, I think, Mirror Lullaby, but that's so stupid. So I changed it. And the stars still will shine, and the moon still will rise, and the leaves still will fall. Only time can shake this world. She kept her dreams in a box underneath her bed, and he was the only one who ever got in her head. So fly, little angel, fly, don't cry, little angel, try. Hi, little angel, hi, say goodnight, little angel. And you think you've forgotten how to be. All that's left is the memory. Who's to say that they're not enough? If you wilt, it's because you give them. You say you've got nothing to lose. Alas, you know you have to choose. Heaven dripped from every kiss. Who knew hell possessed the lips? Fly, little angel, fly, don't cry, little angel, try. Hi, little angel, hi, say goodnight, little angel. And the warmth soon surpasses all the cold. You're still searching for the answers untold. Who's to say that they even exist? Maybe hidden in your next heaven's kiss. Fly, little angel, fly, don't you cry, little angel, try. Hi, little angel, hi, say goodnight, little angel. And this song, Happy Birthday, Bill. Yay. This is called White Flag, my little ode to Bill. And so my lips and untangle my hair. I think this game is unfair. So I So I'll surrender. Break down my walls and say you're mine. Tell me that I'm no more. So I'll surrender. So I'll surrender. And I wanna write for you. And I wanna write for you. Color outside my lines and take my hands, 'cause I think I'm falling down. So I'll surrender. So I'll surrender. Last, try to read my mind and hang my heart out to dry. I don't think I'll win this time. So I'll surrender. So I'll surrender. And I wanna write for you. 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 So I'll surrender. So I'll surrender. So I'll surrender. Happy birthday, Bill.
Peace. Good to see y'all. I'll open with two short pieces. This one's called Yeah, Yeah, It's Spring, Okay.
Makes me laugh.
When flowers snore night songs into the bark of trees, fleas rock puppies in dirt cradles, when the children laugh in dew that falls from leaves, when winged ones levitate joy's potatoes, when a pig is a rabbit, warbler, primrose, rain-streaked tornado warning, 80 degrees coming round the moon, the snowman throws in the towel, and the sandman comes at noon. And this is called Matting Goddess. When one acts like one knows nothing, one might as well be what is shoved in the face. Don't let it make you ugly. Drool in a corner, cry in the sink. But if you love a man, don't keep score, for justice will overrule love. Vengeance might be justice. Freedom can be. With it, you get what you paid for. The other, you lose more from that which you have already lost. Karen X. This is a piece that Karen X collaborated with me on. Joyous Cherokee Nation child spinning through the universe. Earth Mother turns everywhere. Brother Sun shines on us all. Man in the moon comes and goes, just like always. Warrior heart finds buffalo hoof. Fork-tongued devils ravage for fur while wasting meat finds no joy in bright big sky country. Buffalo heart lying in the dirt. Buffalo soul paws grassy plain, seeking great spirit father. Grandfather herb sprouts green and thorny by sparkling waters. Warrior heart finds peace by running waters. Dirt sustains grass, herb, bloom. Hawkwind mescalito melody sings, whistle, scream, whistle, whistle. Fade into an awesome echo, echo, echo. This is a piece that, this is a piece that I collaborated with Samia Abu-Shaban. She composed the first half and I was left to put the second half together. Unswayed by the frenzied crowds, unmoved by the frantic rhythm of the alienated masses, an identity crisis in an unidentifiable nightmare of a party of millions, I sit in the midst of the alien crowd, a party of one, stranger in a strange land. And I say to you, a war for justice is only a tragic compulsion. The hooligans and the malicious, with their strategy of terror, create a nightmare-red landscape. I am a stranger in a strange land with my fantastic, flagless framework. A party of one in the midst of the demonstration. Two more. This one is dedicated to Samuel Abu-Shaban. Life itself, crueler than fiction, distant drums call us to action. Into our sphere strides a kindred soul, helping us help ourselves reach our common goal. Words and deeds built upon sincerity bring us all to a sacred state of serenity. Knowing someone else really does care makes our crosses so much easier to bear. That time will eventually come when the race will finally be won. Love and the true life force will then open heaven's doors. Our children will surely get nurturing. The goddess's true goals will all be furthering. Our elders will receive their respectful dues. There will be we, no me's nor you's. Until those days of heavenly grace, our support of each other will be our solid base. Prayer and action for the good of all will be our mission and our victory call. Thank you. Okay. Let me make sure I don't want to go over one more. Okay, this is Jimi Hendrix wrote this. He said, she's a little wing. He said, well, she's walking through the clouds with a circus mind that's running round. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams and fairy tales. That's all she ever thinks about, riding with the wind. When I'm sad, she comes to me with 1,000 smiles she gives to me free. It's all right, she says, it's all right. Take anything you want from me, anything. And fly on, little wing. Yeah, little wing. This is for Jimmy in 1970 and Johnny in 1980 and Jerry in 1995 and all our wounded warriors, wounded, gone, gone, gone again, gone but not forgotten. Now in Zen, we press our hearts together, the me that is not me, and the you that is not you. Tao and then our vitality shares our love. You overflowing brightly blue, me a vibrant, verdant hue. These universes universing, lightning rainbow kaleidoscoping, touch, taste, see, hear, all of this in our university.
Our university.
That's cool.
Oh, clever.
And I like to close with my closer. And I'd like you all to just imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us and above us, only sky. And imagine all the people living for today. And imagine there's no countries. It isn't so hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. And imagine all the people living life in peace. Hey, you may say that we are dreamers, but we know we're not the only ones, and we hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. So just imagine no possessions. I just wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of woman and man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Hey, you may say that we are dreamers, but we know we're not the only ones. And we hope someday you'll all join us. And the world will love us one.
We do.
Actually, we love this 4 or 5 sometimes.
Before we go any further, I was.
Oh God, okay.
We don't use big hits.
I'm not gonna read one.
Oh, it's okay.
It's called My Dad. It's funny, then again, not really. This may sound silly, the fact that I'd trade all the money to have a picture like you have on your nightstand. Just you and your dad, sharing a smile together. It's so genuine, though it makes me smile, too. It transcends the photo, and I smile back, but I'm jealous of you. There. A blissful moment caught in time. Damn, I wish that could have been mine, but my dad, you see, had a whole other family, and I seen you last on his list. But I did get an up-close meeting a few times with his fist. I forever felt his disapproval of me, but exactly why I couldn't see. If only I could have sat on his lap, rested my head on his shoulder while we both took a nap. But we didn't. I guess he couldn't. At least I tried to tell myself that it's not just because he wouldn't. I've longed my whole life just to be a part of his. But that's always been my story, wanting what I never get. I love my dad. Only from afar, though, never close. He was never there when I needed him most. I never cried to him, but with my eyes I tried so hard to beg. He didn't see me, he never heard me, and most of the time he didn't even touch me, let alone show me if he ever really even loved me, so I suppose that's why I don't know what to do when any man shows me too much attention. I still feel so much like that little kid. I hate that my first reaction is to run in the other direction. Believe me, please, this is not a game. I swear it's no fun. Before I realize what I've done, I've gone too far, too fast. I know it looks like I'm running from you. Please try to understand. It's just me, still running from my past.
Yeah. That's badass. No, blue mine. Purple. I wish.
I got some more at home.
Oh, God.
You got Arlen.
That doesn't mean right there. I don't live that far.
Here, go look there. I just want blue.
Shit.
Where?
Okay, I wrote this one the other day, and I haven't read it to anybody yet, so I guess I'm going to read it to y'all. It's kind of, long. You said it so sincere. I had to pinch my peace of mind just to make sure I hadn't melted back to sleep. You said you admired me. I could tell admiration was definitely a part of your run-on sentence. My God, it made me want to run too. If you only knew the agonizing trick I made to understand half as much as you think I do. When I flash back to the memories of the war I had to fight alone, I can see myself picking through the garbage my loving family left for me to pick through, just so I could find a little more of that eggshell floor I'd become so comfortable walking on.
Haha.
Nothing short of a miracle, because I did manage to salvage some sanity. I guess it was a thirst, a hunger, a drive. But that's what made me so curious. I wanted to know what it would be like to awaken and see yellow hues warming my room, just anticipating another gifted day of joy. Shit, if that damn lady on the mattress commercial could wake up with such a zest for a new day, my God, I wanted to know what was so damn exciting. Yes, that's what made me say. Although I knew it wouldn't be easy before I could even lie down on such perfect padding, I needed to remove the knife that was still in my back. I didn't want to stain all the warm, cozy yellow with clots of red meat. Don't get me wrong, I do appreciate your admiration of the parts of me you have thus far digested. Therefore, because of this comfort level we have together, just let me enlighten you a little bit further. The me I am right now is a result of continual abuse, distrust, hurt, neglect. Think about it. Isn't it amazing that all that heartbreak could produce such a positive effect, such as my newfound acquaintance I now refer to as self-love? Apparently, when my wonderful parents were passing out the letters in the alphabet soup, they somehow mistakenly spelled out my self-loathe. You gotta hate that, but try not to hate them, even though I did hate them. Only then, it wasn't a socially accepted practice to kick their asses for creating my messes. I so wanted to sucker punch those bastards, but like a champ, I just held it in and kept my focus on punching my way out of this wet paper bag. I prayed so often it would just hurry up and become my toe tag so the misery would stop choking me. And the moral of the story is that I did make it out alive, which too often, to my dismay, seemed more like punishment. The endless days and weeks and months of torment. I felt so hopeless, so often. And whenever it was time to get up and get moving, I was left behind, hung out to dry, abandoned. How funny, only I wasn't laughing. Victimized again. And then it occurred to me that just like fallen trees in the forest that are broken and abused, seemingly they look worn and rotten, and then right before you think would be the point of complete disintegration, a transformation occurs, which renders the wood to be as hard as stone. Petrified. Finally, I had my focus. I concentrated solely on that small success. Who would have guessed that from a rubble of hysteria and pain I would be left with a tongue so thick that it couldn't begin to enunciate the amount of hurt I was feeling? All my attempts to speak only came out sounding like screams, guttural moaning, and animalistic barks. Even though I wasn't able to speak clearly, surely to God someone should have understood and heard my pain. But they just stared at me smiling, wide eyes, wanting more entertainment, just hanging on to the edge of their seat for my next act. So, to keep the peace, I played along as their clown. Everyone loves a fucking clown. I still can't believe that I never raised my voice, not even once, to say no to the greedy hands and faces that jockeyed for a position to sit ringside at my suffering. He told me it was okay. He told me to keep my mouth shut and be a good little girl. So I made it my job to keep the party going and maintain the overall state of contentment. I thought maybe if I kept the peace, then my shame wouldn't have to become front page news, engulfing every bit of everything could have been, if only he had not put his hands right there. And I just stood there, shocked. I stood so still because nobody looks at me unless I'm a fucking clown. How come everyone has to like clowns? Why was it never noticed by anyone, not even trained eyes? Even trained eyes went blind on my teacher and my doctor. I didn't have a lawyer. I just quietly hated myself. I wasn't smiling. I wasn't shining. I wasn't lit up like I was supposed to be, a cute little girl. Choking on my panic screams, I swallowed day in and day out, wishing for that very thing, an out. Abandoned and misused and never taught to speak, love, or give, let alone receive love, except, of course, all the love he gave me every time she let go of my hand and left me behind those closed doors with that man so she could go out and medicate her own pain with a sunburned tan and attention from any given man. I took her abuse, too. I am amazed I was able to endure so much, so I guess you're right. I do deserve a few accolades. I've learned quite a few life lessons here. I'm cute, I'm intelligent, and some people think I'm pretty funny. I'd have to be to raise me and nurture myself on the shoestring budget that love has given me. A startling twist to an epic born of selfish, ignorant pride. I'm surprised I have such an understanding of so much that I've seen, felt, heard, and endured. Emerging from a brittle, broken down shell, rising above my surroundings, which were a living hell. I'm petrified. Just like the wood, right before I was completely broken, I was actually restored. I am stronger now than any of my caretakers could have ever persuaded me to be. Risen from ashes and lashes across my back, I'm deep and I'm sensitive, and I was still able to maintain my sanity. I can say with pride that I did it. It was such hard work, but so worth it. This morning when I opened my eyes, I was surprised to see everything was yellow. It was so warm and cozy, and it was all mine.
Yes.
That
was beautiful. Girl, I was
Sweating, man.
That's all right. Me too. I feel this. I mean,
This
that
ain't no
was awesome.
church, don't worry.
Okay, I'm going to read one more and then I'm done. It's called, that other one doesn't have a title, by the way.
I'll take it. I love it.
It's called What I Want. I want to be more than the outgoing, vivacious lust you see. I want to be more for me. And then again, I get too scared to fight for the very thing I would think would be right for me. It's just the scariness of changing all I know. I want and I want and I want so well that it looks as if I can't make any moves, because then I won't be wanting, which is all I know how to do. For once I'll be getting and having, and I think that would be just too much change for me. Besides, I might not get what I want anyway, and then all that change would have been for nothing. I'll still be wanting, but I'll be embarrassed from the failure too. So I'll just keep waiting and wanting, because I'm so good at wanting. As if wanting will get me anywhere but here, but then here is so familiar. Nothing new to learn. I've got down all the reactions to wanting and not getting, that this is just so easy for me. But if I really think change is too scary, then what is the point I go on for? Because I'll never have more. I only want for more. And that would make my everyday attempt at living futile. Because to live, I'd have to get something I wanted, and I just can't. Because then I won't be wanting and waiting. And like I said, that's all I know how to do. I don't like to do anything I'm not good at. And I perfected wanting, so why waste my expertise? Having and getting, I'd have to practice for that. I'm going to be right here waiting and wanting. I'll be the best wanter there ever was. I'll let everyone else worry about having and getting. I'll just stay here wanting.
Yeah. Girl.
Yeah, the thing I was going to read turned out not to be right for tonight, since it's Phil's birthday. So I'm going to do something from memory. I don't write love poems, babe. Don't write them, don't read them, can't stomach them. All that pap and puke about sunshine and flowers, about how I could sit and stare for hours at your fair hair or eyes or lips or shape or form, and how the irregularities of your skin are like Rembrandt, babe. I hate love poems, babe. All of them rhyme. They rhyme time with climb and rhyme with sublime and call it pretty. Real poems don't rhyme, babe. Because anything real has to contain and thus express some bit of the elemental chaos called the universe that we're all part of. Anything else is bullshit, babe. Nope. I don't write love poems, babe. I write poems about things that matter. How when the clear blue sky meets the red Texas sand in complementary shades, how that can cause you to find your place with God and everything. Because that's the kind of poet I am. I got the wind in my hair, I got the stars in my eyes, and I still got these Birkenstocks firmly planted on the soil that bore me, and I'm confident enough in my masculinity to write it all down. But I don't write love poems, babe. Oh, I'll love you, babe, I swear I will. And if you'll have this bald-head poet's love, you better be prepared for the force of my great love to sweep away the mountains and to dry the deep blue sea. My love for you will know no bounds of time or space or shape or form. When Venus' eye doth pierce the clouds, she will bow and weep with jealousy. But don't expect me to write about it.
Yeah. Come back. All right.
This one's called Anger. I'm angry, but you never know it. No, not until you're caught like a deer in the headlights of my eyes. My disgust is apparent on my face, or I assume it must be, because in my anger, you are just an object. I wish I could see my face. from the fear in yours, I guess that you must know I'm walking the edge of violence. But you don't know that I am noticing, categorizing every weakness that you exhibit, even in your strengths. And the only space between murder and your nakedness is the fact that I'd much rather hurt myself. So back off. Before I blow your candles out, rip open all the presents you wanted to carefully open, one at a time through life. Because I am a flame, wanting all these dried flowers, these dried out promises, these broken yellow roses to burn with me. High heels make the most satisfying sound on walls. Bitter is the pill bitterness of silence, when one wants the sound of glass to crash and make music on the floor, on the sky, on the ceiling of God's goddamn golden room, the anteroom of heaven. After that bitch of an interview at the pearly gates, you were in danger, and you know it. I lick up your knowledge with the same relish that I would lap up your blood if I were a cannibal. But I'm just angry. That anger that falls like smoke till your ears are full and your eyes are stuck closed from the weight of your lashes. The only things real are the weapons and the weaknesses and me, glaring at your jugular in anger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't speak. Write. Write on your arm. Make it real so it won't fade. Just don't speak. If you do, they'll notice but won't care. Just write in the hieroglyphics understood only as the language of pain, of a lesser bleeding, a hemorrhage in the flesh and not of the heart. The first words you write, I hurt. The last, I will be heard, but don't speak. Shut up or we'll sew your lips shut. Then only your eyes can scream. People always look at the floor when they're happy and afraid. And they mumble to drown out the whimpers and sounds of slaps. Just don't speak. Keep your self-disgust inside. Draw it to separate it from yourself. To give it substance. Don't speak. There's nothing wrong. They've never seen the signs. You're fine. And if not, we'll just drug you up, send you to a dim room to spin out your brains so you learn to depend upon strangers and chemicals that you develop resistance to every couple of months, and that when you forget a dose, all the artificial walls to your sadness, your madness melt like sand, and you're flooded with the fear of yourself. You'll learn to get used to hearing, did you take your medicine? When you're sad. When you're sad, don't speak. Right. Selective slumber. If I could wake, I would claw the film from my eyes. If I could wake, I would pull the wool from my mind. But I'm a little sleepy, and I'm a little weary now, and I'm a little disappointed in myself. I'm a little disgusted with the way that I'm feeling, and I'm a little disillusioned by the blood that I'm spilling into the sink. I've become sickened by the tears running down my cheeks, mingling with my misery in the crimson, saying, sink. If you ask me why I took the knife to write upon my soul, I reply, it hurts less to bleed than to feel this repetition of worn-out misery. I would gladly die for you in a minute, if you asked me to, but I would never live for you. It's too hard, and I'm too afraid to eat and sleep your love when it's no certain thing. The garments I wear of fear and illusion have become faded, like a second skin that my flesh has knitted to itself, too much a part of me to shed. My sorrows, my shroud, muffle my screams that I used to try and wake, but the world is too dead, and I am too tired to fight my apathetic slumber. Here, I only run from dreams. I cannot reject you in terror. I believe I'm strong, daring, brave, an emotional corpse of a somnambulist. But if I could wake, I would see the truth. Alright, this one's Sojourn. I bled myself to death upon the sands of time. I dyed the desert red, giving birth to good and evil. I sacrificed them to live, took their essence within me, a burden to bear for my crime. I had lived in a crystal cage, built pain by pain. A pedestal of moral righteousness I was placed in at creation. My only visitor, a demon, claiming to have made me safe, fucking me all the while. Seraphim flew outside, yet no attention paid me. I wanted to jump, but rooted to the spot, I instead let down my vanity and sang. Man climbed, tearing my hair. I took him into me. He said it was why he came. It was nothing I hadn't done before. I lost myself in his eyes. We matched each other in passion. He slapped me then, called me whore, then took his leave in a shower of broken dreams. I waited for my devil to come. He always did. At night, he called for me to bring him unto heaven. I replied I'd take him into hell. He promised answers to my questions if I let him lay me one last time. I did, and he didn't. I felt used. He left, laughing at my naivety. I smashed my glass bed and boxes, cut my arms with their shards, and upon the translucent walls I wrote, "Notice me," for all the angels and God to read. I painted my tower with red trying to bleed myself with my tarnished virtue. Man had given me shame. The demon called for me to let my hair down. He was hideous, vile. I saw it clearly now. He made to grab me, and I moved away. He slipped in my blood upon the floor, cursing me for a fool. I cried I'd give myself to only man. The incubus claimed man would take me and rape me, but at least man brings knowledge. In a rage, my demon captor shattered my glass cage, leaving me on a jagged pedestal, impaling himself with shards. He left me with no walls upon which to write my plea to the angels. So I rocked, and I wept, for my shattered home and my broken walls of innocence, and my tears drew the angels as greed is drawn to the milk of human kindness. They lifted me from the ravaged shell that had protected me so long, and veiled me with ignorance. Their light blinded me, and their grip was harsh. They handled me perfunctorily. They were perfection, and tempered by kindness. My bloodied wrists stained their white wings. They faltered in their stellar path. Their wings beat harder to lift us up. They could not bear the weight of my sin. They spoke angrily in voices of Beethoven and Bach, blaming me for the weight they now bore. I cried to them to struggle on. They heeded me not. They resented their loss of epitomic purity. I cried and raged, fiercely clinging to their limbs of light. They became angry at my impertinence, and they cast me into hell. I lay upon the sands, retching and wretched, impregnated with the fate of the world. Chaos or order, the choice for eternity, would be mine to bear alone. I bore choice. Kneeling in the crystalline grains, twins they were, Verlaine et Duchamp. It is all relative. I raised them in my solitude, to each his own destiny, one fair-skinned and sable-haired, the other coffee-complexion with light amber locks, both unearthly in appearance, with the horrible beauty of seraphim and the sexless seduction of incubi. My children were animal in appearance, their features and limbs, those of multifarious creatures, interchangeable, opposites. Their spirits died between their bodies, they were one, now the other. Did I love them? My children. Can one love the part they are assigned in a destiny? I was allowed to be brought into existence, to be the service, as the womb and battleground for man's alignment. Therefore, could I love them? I accepted them. It was enough. I protected them. It was my obligation. I taught them. I could not control them. Yes, I loved them, though I never did trust. It was easier that way. I woke with the sun to greet each day as guardian of Pandora's box. I stood upon the dunes, watching for man to come, though I had no reason to believe that he would. He had left me with no assurances, except that he found me contemptible. Still I waited, hoped. I had never known loneliness. I could have turned to God, but we had lost contact during my move, so I did not pray. I knew he was out there, watching, waiting. I refused to speak to him, and he was too proud to call me. I was dead inside, soulless and able to feel. I loved, yet I did not feel it. I simply had to assume. I poured my strength into the earth to bring forth fruits, yet the desert remained unmoved by my offerings of blistered digits and bloody tears of frustration. It remained as barren as my heart, so we dined on air. On a night when the sky bled in fiery colors, as the lighted orb took its leave, I watched the stars come out. They were especially radiant. They had taken to forming figures against the azure backdrop, yet they changed over the course of time. It was a private theater, more beautiful than anything that had been created heretofore. I had noticed the stars' rotations that had started long ago. Their dance marked my days. It began I know not when, but it was after my removal from my cage. I think God was trying to make peace. As I sat watching this majestic picture show, a figure, bent and wavering, struggled over the dune. It made its way fumbling, stumbling. Many times it fell, and I cried out in sympathy for its humiliation and misery. As the night deepened and the blood drained from the sky, the figure struggled closer. I did not dare help it. I knew not what it was or what price fortune would beg for its company. But it moved blindly, hands outstretched to find its way, arms held in a position of supplication, as if pleading for succor. As it came close, I recognized the form I had watched. Man had come at last to the desert. He was a wraith, gaunt, emaciated, his eyes were bloody sores. I screamed at the loss of that beauty. He blindly groped for me, his hands stuck in my hair. They were bloody from wiping at his useless sockets. My screams tore my children from our shelter. They had heard them only once before, at their births. Now my yells heralded their destruction. The imps tore man from me. Recoiling at his touch, they stared at him, uncertain whether to destroy him out of hand or heal him of his wounds. They began to quarrel, evil and good, tearing at each other. One or the other would be eliminated, the world bound to the outcome. Man sat helpless as a babe, unable to comprehend the terror that their violence foreboded. I tried to separate them, but they fought with the ferocity of beasts. My blood was spilled upon the earth. I knew with a certainty that either's victory would mean humanity's doom. I grabbed a knife that hung from men's belt and took their lives. Their spirits, taking on translucent forms, rose from their gutted figures. I watched them in their ethereal beauty as they came together and joined in a passionate love that was a spiritual sex of two becoming one. Then they glowed with a painful incandescence and came at me. I was afraid that it was retribution as they flew, yet they said, "Fear not," and dived into my heart. They were rain that prepared my fallow feelings to bloom for the first time. I cried, I wept with joy, and I laughed for the same reason. I had never felt such freedom. Choice had buried itself in my breast, and I was free from my fate. As I wept, I cared not a whit for man's ugliness. I embraced him and clutched him to my breast. He was to be a friend. Friend, my first. And my tears fell upon his face, and his blindness was drowned in their torrent. He blinked and saw me. Not an impropriety, not a sin or tarnish or a plaything, but me. He reached up with a claw-like hand and stroked my face, with a touch more tender than even the kisses we had shared in our bed. I felt a pull in my stomach, and my world was pulled inside out as I gave birth into his hands. Two babes that were human, not elves or demons or angels, and man could see them. I could learn to love.
Wow. You know me out of the water. Damn it.
Alright, what am I going to read first? I'm going to read the one I read last week because Ree told me to. And I'm going to read this one because Corey told me to. I'll go here. I'll go here first. This is the definition of addiction. I'll heal your wounds and set you free. I'm Jesus Christ on ecstasy. God bless roll.
Yeah.
The words stare out at you as you stare at yourself, remnants of a past life unable to be forgotten, a past life that will not let go, a former addiction that has become the definition of your everyday life, of you. This is the first love poem I've ever written, so you'll have to excuse me as I'm not very good at it. I don't know exactly what it is I was writing before, love poems or hate poems or just a bunch of words on a page separated with spaces and dots, but I know now that this is my first love poem, so you'll have to excuse me. I'll have to cry open the 50% of your mind left to find out what it was like to live life in the green. What life would be like if we didn't have to stop at red lights. You can't have it your way for long, because what would life be without some giant-ass pothole in the middle of the bloody road that are goddamn invisible until you're in one of them, and it is royally fucked up, your alignment. I think about you when I'm driving. Can you tell? I think about how you must have felt, how you must feel now. A life without hobbies or personality traits or reputation, without information, gossip without rumors, rumors without base, and a base based on the fact that you're an ex-cokehead. Because when I'm driving, I'm thinking about you, I think of nothing else, though I try. That's all you have, baby. Your past, your dirty, dirty past, and how can anything else about you compete with that? What else do you talk about or think about except how I'm not going to relapse today? You quit drinking, you're going back to school, fighting for both, sticking to neither so far. You'll have to pardon my lack of faith. Sometimes it even disturbs me. Cynicism or apathy? Semantics. Semantics are a bitch, aren't they? So what I was saying was you'll have to pardon my lack of faith because it is not directed at you. Shitty cop-out, I know, but my lack of faith and my cynicism and my apathy are directed at the system. The system that's going to make you eventually break down and chug that 40. The system that'll coerce you to give your life, hands, and genitalia all over to the mind-bending hallucinogens that made you friends with the marmals in the first place, just as soon as you get off probation. The system that says you must hide the liquor bottles from your drunken mother as you pray to every god you've ever heard of that she won't call the police again. The system that makes you think you aren't good enough for the system, the court-ordered GED, that makes you fight the fine state of Texas in a courtroom so that you can go back to high school. You have to fight to turn your life around. So you write in lipstick all the quotes, all the petty imaginings that used to make your life easy and simple, the words that defy the system, the words the system laughs at. Systems laugh when they are afraid. But marmals? Marmals come into your rooms at night, or maybe you just think they do. They don't go to rooms a lot. Everyone knows they live at raves. You can catch one with peanut butter and a really strong raccoon trap if you're clever. That. Okay. Alright. This is the one you wanted me to read at the crazy little conservative reading. You're like, read the poem about sex in the dumpster. Remember that, kid? You remember that, kid?
The
Sex in the
student reading.
dumpster.
It's
Rub
not
it on
really
yourself.
about sex in the dumpster. It's like one line. It's like, read the sex in the dumpster poem.
I was just trying to raise the student reading.
Everybody's sitting there, all the conservative Orthodox Jewish people, they all have their yarmulkes and they're all reading very nice short fiction, and nobody's saying any bad words.
Break the mold.
And I get up there and I'm like, fuck! Like that. Anyway. I want to write more often. I really do, but how are you supposed to write when you don't feel? When the only passion is anger, when the only calm is forced upon you by the smell of marijuana lingering in the air. 1 bed, 2 boys, 4 hours, 3 bowls. No fucking this time, but it's deeper when you're high. I don't feel. Not for him, not for her, not even for the smoke anymore. Nobody's important because nobody can make me happy. Nothing's going right. So I guess it's time for me to start going wrong all over again. Go back in time, regress to the beginning of true teenagerhood. Lying, stealing, smoking, drinking, fucking random guys in the back of a dumpster that's cutting into my back almost as much as his mouth cuts into my soul when he unexpectedly kisses me. I never expect them to want to kiss me. I never expect them to want to touch me, because who knows what diseases I have after sleeping naked in that gutter off Harry Hines with my legs wide open. Wonder how many times I'll get raped again in this lifetime. Wonder how much time it'll take before I start living, really living, rolling, tripping, stringing myself out until I pass out on another stranger's couch. Maybe that's how come they never call back. You drink all their liquor, and then to top it off, you're a crappy late. You might as well give up on this weekend, because your pussy's too raw to get wet again, and God knows the smack ain't gonna help. Go to McDonald's and flash the drive-thru guy. Maybe you'll get some free hash browns. Close your eyes and you'll see the stars through the dark. Sometimes the blinding lights of the real world are just too bright. It's Monday. Rise and shine and back to school. Your girlfriend knows something's wrong again from the color in your eyes. But hell, she wasn't there to stop you because you wouldn't let her go. She's slowly growing to hate you as you fly with your arms up like you're on a roller coaster down your downward spiral of decadence. Because what is there left for you to do? All you are is a pair of tits with a big vocabulary. And you're funny when you're stoned, so what's the harm? But no, because your teachers see it too. Funny, they can't notice anger and depression when they show up on your arms in little red streaks, but they sure as hell can tell if you've had a good time. You're not walking straight, half because of the drugs and half because he wouldn't stop when you told him it hurt. It hurt a lot, but you took it and moaned sexy and hot, hoping he'd get off you. Then you run into the arms of another stone little boy, one that'll cuddle you and tell you you're everything, one who is speeding his balls off and wants head so bad he can taste it. And you do it because you see through all the glass. You tell everyone what they're really thinking, and that's why they fuck you and leave you. They want to taste, but then they're scared because you let them. You let them use you, and you use them back, and they realize that they've been had. And they don't understand how a girl can be that cruel and smart, how a girl who's never been abused by anyone in her life can be so damn hurtful. How she could throw people around like dolls, a girl that's been valued, a girl that's been hugged, a girl that's been given roses and candy, a girl that's been made love to, can rape all you inferiors with her mind simply by coming to your parties, sleeping with your boys and girls, drinking up your liquor and your cum, swallowing it all, and then spitting it back out at everyone, right into their eyes, obscuring their vision for her perfect getaway. Guys, I gotta go home and do my homework. Find your own rides. Yeah. And I have to read the other one because Reed told me to. Because if she's not here, I'm not gonna fucking read it. She's making out with my girlfriend. Kill a nigga. Well, then I'm not reading it. Because I read it last week. I'm gonna read it now.
Oh, read it.
Want me to read it?
I want you to read it.
I wasn't here last week.
Max
Me
is
neither.
like, hello.
I was in Oklahoma. I don't like it there.
This is not from personal experience. The feelings I have won't be compromised, and they can't be publicized, so at the risk of self-inflicted rights infringement, I demoralized myself by posing as the goddess of my own little niche in the netherworld. Daddy didn't love me. I have mood swings like a pregnant woman, and I love drugs. I'm the child of the nation's latest craze, so you better look up to me, for I am your superior. I'm the savior of a million little boys and girls across the nation, community program dropouts. We all live to die 1,000 deaths in your living room, screaming out at you from the blue light of your TV screen that we are unloved, unloving and unloved. Daddy didn't love me, or he loved me too much. My excuse is my well-brought-up, upper-middle, white class of suburbia with a suburban housewife mother who's having her garden club over for dinner. Turn that music down. The kids can hear the swear words blasting from my stereo, and someday we know they'll be just like me. Just like me, or just like the empty-minded twits that pour from the front of the high school at the last bell, jump into their jeeps and jet off to some killer straight-edge party. The deep-seated resentment between them and I stems from a lie that we were all told when we were yay high, that God loves unconditionally. Our environment has been cleansed of that false hope repeatedly by hate, and fights in the cafeteria, by uncertified teachers sent by the state to unclog our ears and make us listen for the state of the union. A union divided is a paradox that no one seems to mind because they're all too busy standing in line at the DMV. Because, oh yes, we are the daddy didn't love me's, the ones who will eventually become Volvo driving soccer moms if the world doesn't eat us first. We are the broken homes, the last resorts, the seeds who paddle out to where it's the same in the end, the heart-shaped boxes filled with lithium, the ones who break stuff and are untouchable. I'm from white America, I am one of your kids, and I'm falling away from you. Our spoon-fed pop-punk culture seeps into the edges of your everyday existence till you're so fed up you turn off the stereo, move to the suburbs, and make your wife join a sewing club. Because I am dyed-haired, thug, punk, skater, bitch, preppy, whore, cunt, dyke, Wiccan freak, metalhead, Satan-worshipping stereotype, and I'm coming into your home tonight. I'm going to crawl up in bed with you as you snuggle your pillow and you try to pretend you're not so lonely. I'll spoon you, nibble on your neck, leave you aroused or dead, depending on my mood. We're all bipolar these days, so it's anybody's game. I want a personality disorder of my own, Mommy. I want rage attacks and voices in my head. Maybe they'll tell me why all the adults who think that they know what I should do with myself are so fucking stupid. Why all the adults who act like adults have mimicking monkeys spouting rhetoric on their shoulders. Why they place the boulders of heavy expectations on our necks and then give us a cartoon pamphlet to teach us how not to have sex. They like to deny us our favorite pastimes. They deny it. Make it dirty. The lies and the crimes perpetrated on the minds of our youth regarding their sexual lives could fill up 10 more pages of these rhymes, but I don't have the time or the desire, because my free will and my empathy have been unceremoniously stripped from me, and I'm sorry, I no longer have any opinions. I have nothing left to offer, so just take my word for it when I tell you my heart is dirt, my mind is left going 70 miles an hour with nothing to direct it, and no feelings to protect it from going the wrong way. Today I think I'll just let go. I'll vacate my room, take down all my posters, and write notes to all my friends. Don't know when you'll see me again because these tens of thousands of stupid people are just getting on my nerves. I'm about to flip. I can't stick around here no more where I'm not happy. This climate has made me tired, full of apathy, so for now, I gotta leave, because I'm sorry, but I have no opinions anymore. That's the end. Now I'm leaving.
Like that. You should do that at the slam.
I'm too young for the slam.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Gee,
I know.
if only you knew
She's an
someone
age,
who worked
she'll
the
be
door.
What would that be?
You can be your truest self on paper. Scaredy cat, scaredy cat. You can be if you're a good writer. You could be that way on stage. But every day, person to person, day to day, paycheck to paycheck, there's just so much bull and drama that you have to look straight ahead with blinders on, not acknowledge the big picture, trudging ever forward, waiting, trudging. That is what keeps a good person away from their truest self. That's cool. I like it. Let's see, I have a bunch of short ones. This is called Harder. The wind always blows harder here than anywhere else, his aunt says, this reverently. An image of playful souls wrestling, racing, pushing across the graveyard this sunny spring day, mid-April. It's harder for him now. His mother, father, and eldest sister laid into hallowed ground, coming up on a year since Phyllis, loving mother and child of God, was carried home. Her headstone has at last arrived. This Sunday, the family she left behind gathers and cries once again together, thinking maybe if they stay long enough that this will not be real and their presence might undo her death.